The global car industry is massive. It spans continents, employs millions, and generates trillions in revenue. From the bustling factories in Detroit to the high-tech plants in Japan, the industry is a cornerstone of the global economy. It's a well-oiled machine, or at least it tries to be. Every part, every process is meticulously planned and executed to ensure that cars roll off the assembly line efficiently and effectively. But recently, someone threw a rather large wrench into the works tariffs. These aren't just minor adjustments, they are significant changes that can alter the entire landscape of the industry. These taxes on imported goods can disrupt the delicate balance of global trade. They can lead to increased costs, supply chain delays, and even shifts in manufacturing locations. And when it comes to cars, the impact can be felt from the factory floor to the dealership lot. Workers may face layoffs, and consumers might see higher prices and fewer choices. Remember that time you tried to build a car out of Lego bricks? You had all the pieces laid out and you were excited to see the final product. And you were missing that one crucial piece? It was frustrating, wasn't it? You couldn't complete the car and it felt like all your efforts were in vain. That's kind of what's happening now. Car manufacturers are missing crucial parts due to tariffs, and it's causing significant disruptions. Car manufacturers rely on a complex global supply chain. Parts are sourced from various countries, each specializing in different components. Parts come from all over the world. Engines from Germany, electronics from Japan, and tires from South Korea. This intricate web of suppliers ensures that manufacturers get the best quality at the best price. But with new tariffs in place, those parts are getting a lot more expensive. Customs checks are more stringent, and the added costs are passed down the line. This isn't just some theoretical problem, it's a real issue affecting real people. Factory workers are worried about their jobs, and dealerships are seeing fewer customers walk through their doors. It's hitting some of the biggest names in the business, and it's trickling down to consumers. Brands like Chrysler, Jeep, and Dodge are feeling the pinch, and so are the people who buy their cars. Buckle up because things are about to get bumpy. The road ahead is uncertain, and the industry will need to navigate these challenges carefully to stay on course. Let's talk numbers, shall we? The recent imposition of a 125% tariff on Chinese imports has sent shockwaves through various industries. This isn't just a minor adjustment, it's a seismic shift that will have far-reaching consequences. A 125% tariff on all Chinese imports. Yes, you heard that right. This means that for every product imported from China, an additional 125% of its value is added as a tax. That's not a typo, that's a whole extra 125 quid on every 100 you spend on parts from China. Imagine the impact on industries that rely heavily on these imports, like the automotive sector. Imagine walking into your local supermarket and finding out that a loaf of bread now costs 2.25 times the price. It's a staggering increase that would leave anyone reeling. You'd probably spit out your tea in disbelief. This is the kind of reaction many consumers are having as they come to grips with the new reality of higher prices. Now you might be thinking, but I buy British cars. Why should I care about Chinese imports? It's a fair question, but the answer is more complex than it seems. Well, here's the thing. Even if your car says made in Britain on the label, there's a good chance it's got a lot of Chinese components under the hood. These components range from essential engine parts to electronic systems that make your car run smoothly. Those components just got a whole lot more expensive. The cost of manufacturing and maintaining vehicles is set to rise, and this increase will inevitably be passed down the supply chain. And guess who ultimately ends up footing the bill? It's not the manufacturers or the retailers, but the end consumers who will feel the pinch the most. You guessed it, the consumer. This tariff is likely to affect everything from the price of cars to everyday goods, making life more expensive for everyone. So the next time you see a price hike, remember, it's not just inflation, it's also the cost of international trade policies. Stellantis, the automotive giant behind iconic brands like Chrysler, Jeep, and Dodge, is facing a significant challenge. The company, which has a rich history of producing some of the most beloved vehicles on the road, is now grappling with economic pressures that threaten its bottom line. These pressures are largely due to the tariffs that have been imposed on imported goods. Remember those tariffs we were talking about? Well, they're not just a minor inconvenience, they're a major headache for Stellantis. The tariffs are hitting Stellantis where it hurts the most, particularly their Jeep and Ram brands. These brands are the backbone of Stellantis's portfolio, representing a significant portion of their sales and revenue. A substantial number of the parts used in these vehicles are sourced from China. This includes everything from electronic components to essential mechanical parts. The tariffs have made these parts more expensive, squeezing Stellantis's profit margins. With the tariffs in place, the cost of these parts has skyrocketed, forcing Stellantis to either absorb the increased costs or pass them on to consumers. Neither option is particularly appealing, as absorbing the costs would hurt their profitability, while raising prices could drive customers away. Stellantis isn't taking this lying down. The company is actively seeking solutions to mitigate the impact of these tariffs. They're holding high-level meetings, brainstorming sessions, and strategy discussions to find a way out of this predicament. One of the key strategies they're pursuing is engaging in talks with policymakers. Stellantis is lobbying for relief from these tariffs, hoping to negotiate a more favorable trade environment that would alleviate some of the financial pressure. In addition to lobbying efforts, Stellantis is also exploring alternative supply chains. They're looking at other countries and suppliers to source the parts they need. This is a complex and time-consuming process, but it's a necessary step to ensure the company's long-term viability. However, finding new suppliers and establishing new supply chains takes time. And in the fast-paced world of car manufacturing, time is money. Every delay can lead to production slowdowns, increased costs, and ultimately, a negative impact on the company's bottom line. Stellantis is racing against the clock to find solutions, but the road ahead is fraught with challenges. Down on the front lines of the car industry, there's a palpable sense of urgency. Car dealerships, the folks who actually have to sell these vehicles, are feeling the pressure. They know that tariffs mean price hikes, and they're not sure how their customers are going to react. Imagine you're a salesperson at a Jeep dealership. A young couple walks in, eyes set on a shiny new Wrangler. They've been saving up for months, and this is their dream car. But then you have to break the bad news. Thanks to the tariffs, the price has gone up. Suddenly that dream car feels a lot further out of reach. Section 5. A scramble for solutions. Stellantis explores its options. Stellantis, to their credit, isn't just sitting back and accepting defeat. They're exploring every avenue available to them, trying to navigate this tariff minefield. One option on the table is shifting production. If they can move some of their manufacturing to countries not subject to these tariffs, they might be able to mitigate some of the damage. Of course, shifting production is no easy feat. It requires significant investment and it can disrupt existing supply chains. But for a company facing a 125% tariff on its parts, desperate times call for desperate measures. Section 6. The market reacts: short-term gains, long-term pain. So, what does all this mean for the average car buyer? In the short term, you might actually see some deals. Dealerships, eager to move inventory before prices go up even further, might be willing to cut you a break. But don't get too excited. This is a bit like that moment when you see a going out of business sale at your favorite shop. Sure, you might snag a bargain or two, but in the back of your mind, you know it's not a good sign. In the long run, tariffs are likely to lead to higher prices across the board. Section 7. The American car buyer caught in the crossfire. Look, nobody wins in a trade war, but in the case of these automotive tariffs, it's the American car buyer who's caught in the crossfire. Imagine you're a young family on a budget. You need a reliable car to get around, but you're also trying to save for a house, maybe put some money away for your kids' education. Now imagine that the price of that reliable car you need just went up by a few £1,000s. Suddenly that dream of homeownership feels a little more distant. That's the reality facing many Americans today. Section 8. A global trade war, the bigger picture. The thing about tariffs is, they're not just about cars. They're a symptom of a much larger problem, a global trade war. Countries around the world are slapping tariffs on each other's goods, and it's creating a lot of uncertainty in the global economy. This tit-for-tat approach to trade might sound good in a political speech, but in the real world, it has real consequences. It drives up prices for consumers, it disrupts global supply chains, and it creates a lot of uncertainty for businesses. Section 9. The road ahead, navigating an uncertain future. So, where do we go from here? Honestly, it's hard to say. The future of the automotive industry, like the future of the global economy, is uncertain. One thing is clear: Tariffs are having a significant impact on the way cars are made and sold. Whether Stellantis and other car manufacturers can find a way to navigate this new landscape remains to be seen. One thing's for sure, it's going to be a bumpy ride.